Hello everyone, welcome to my video. Today I want to download some data from yfinance and I just want to show you how I do that. Without much ado, let's just jump right in. Okay, what I'm going to do is I am going to check what yfinance is and I'll go to the Pypi website. Let me just enlarge this in case. Check what yfinance is. So this was released April 23rd, not too long. That must have been yesterday. Today's 24th, 2025. So I think they made some changes in yfinance, but we are going to go through it together and see what they have changed, or we'll just see how it works right now and stuff. So this is how to install it, and they recommend Python 3.10. I think I've probably used it with Python 3.12. I'm not sure. But we're going to follow the instructions here. And we're going to install this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my GitHub and create a repo. And then I'll use that one to play around with what we have here. So I'll click on a new browser here and then click on my GitHub. Go to my GitHub, create a new one. I think this is it. I could use a template. Let me enlarge this. That's small too. Good. So what am I going to call this? I'm going to call this yfinance. So that's how to spell it. Yfinance. Yep, it's available, and I'm going to make it public. I'll just write something here. Downloading ticker data from yfinance. Yep, that looks about right. I'll forget about the readme. I don't need to git ignore. There's no license, no need. So I'm going to create a repo. And there we are. We have created that repo. That is good. So this is an empty repo that we've just created. So what we can do is we can just go back to our desktop and look for where we're going to continue with this. So this is where I want to work on my project. So I'm going to create a new folder or directory. And I'm just going to call it yfinance using that. This is just my convention. You don't have to just give it a name that you're okay with. I'm going to call it yfinance. And I'll open this folder here and then open my vscode. Well, before I open my vscode, I will have to open a command line. This is just how I walk through that's my workflow. So to open VS Code, I would do code here, dot, and VS Code open. My VS Code went to a different screen, and here I am in that folder. So what I'm going to do is I am going to activate it with I'm going to use UV. I have a video somewhere. You can check the description where I showed you how to install UV and how to use it. So I'm going to use UV for all of my projects from now henceforth. Not just UV, I'm going to be using VS Code also. And so let me enlarge this and let me just move this that way. I hope you can see everything. If you can see anything, then we would have to get rid of my face. Okay, so let's do it this way. Now that my face is out of the way, just for you to view all of that. Go to the terminal here and wait for the prompt to appear. There's my prompt. It tells me I'm in the yfinance folder or directory. So what I'm going to do here is to just initialize this with uv. So I'll say uv init. And if you remember, we were asked to use Python 3, sorry, we'll actually use Python 3.10. Like this. I could just make it so they can see everything. So I'm initializing this project with Python 3.10 because that is what I saw on the Pypi website. So I'm just gonna now hit enter, but I want you to see what happens here, how it's gonna be. This place will be populated with some stuff. Sorry. And there we go. It's been initialized. That's UV, trying to tell you all the things that are needed here. So we have a small environment that has Python. We need to add a few more things. For this video, we don't need much except for our, what you call it, our yfinance. And we were asked to just say pip install here, yfinance, and it's going to install it. But with using UV, we're going to do it slightly differently. We're going to do it a bit different. So here's my Pi project. I don't have any dependencies here, but you can see that we have Python 3.10, just like we said. So we're going to add some dependencies here. And the only thing we're going to add is a yfinance. So I'm just going to say UV add yfinance, and if you just keep your eyes here, you will see the magic that will happen, and it's installing it. This took a little bit longer than I thought. All right, there we go. I don't know why it took so long. Okay, it has to also, it depends on pandas, it depends on numpy, so it's just trying to do all that. There we go, we're done. It has beautiful soup because it needs that to scrape the websites where it gets the ticker symbols from and all the data it contains, and a bunch of other stuff it needs, and all of that are all installed, and there we go. Okie dokie. Now that we are here, we are done with that. Next is to import yfinance and see how to play around with it. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to create a Python file somewhere around here. We already have a Python file here. I could just adopt it, or I could click this to create a new one. But since I am not going to do anything with this one, this was given to me by UV when I ran it. So the idea here is UV wants us to use this to test to see if, you know, everything is working fine. So I could click on this and I could run it to see if, okay, one of the things I need to do is to activate this environment. I could try. So first, I'd like to clear screen, and then I would just, sorry, I had run it before, so it took time to run. Sometimes you have issues like this, and then you probably would have to exit and go back and run the same code. Let me enlarge this again, make it as visible as all the rest, and then I'll launch it again, and it has been launched. Sometimes you have those issues, but nothing shut down, and then logging back in wouldn't solve. So I'm going to come here and move to the terminal, and I'm going to activate this environment here, this .venv environment. And the way to do that in Windows is to, sorry, let me clear screen again. I don't know why it does this sometimes. Let me, so I do Windows, it's still going back and forth. Sorry about that. The way to do that in Windows is you, let me go back. Thank you. Is to type this script here. I've been typing it for a while, so it's stored in memory. So every time I hit my full stop, the rest come. Then I'll run that just to activate that. And I can now run the main. And it says hello from 04 yfinance, which is the name of our, how do I explain? This is the name of our environment. And when you activate your environment with UV, it just uses the name of the environment and then gives you this Python script here, and you just test to see if everything's working fine. That means you have Python on your machine. It also means that all the dependencies, you could use this to test your dependencies to see if the rest of the dependencies you ordered are also doing great. But like I said, we are not going to be using this the way it is right now. It's just for testing purposes. So what we could do is to change the name, and you could go to the rename button somewhere here, and I will put yfinance. And if I click anywhere else, it has changed the name to yfinance. And I will just delete all this. And I'm going to say import yfinance, and most people will say as YF. We have that. Yeah, we could also import pandas as PD. I have too many folks here trying to help me. I'm sure I have Copilot here. Yeah, so many of them are just trying to autocomplete for me. Import as pandas as PD. I could also do that. I don't need any of that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say YF and put a dot. Sorry. And tell it to download. And I'm going to open bracket. And what would I want to download? Like, yeah, I have a helper here telling me what to download. Telling me to download MSFT, which is Microsoft. Period 1 day interval. All right, 1 minute. I have to remove that cache. I don't need cache now. So with this, what I could do is I could just highlight this, hold my shift and enter, and panel will appear on the left hand side. Oh, it is asking me to select my Python interpreter, which I haven't. So I'll just click here to select it and check the Python environments. On my system, I have 3.12, but remember we were asked to use 3.10. So this is what we should have installed and see it's recommended. So I'm going to click on that, and that has been done. So it's asking me to select kernel. So I'll still do the same thing, shift, and now it's working. I probably don't need this lower panel. What is it telling me to do? It's asking me to install pip. I wonder why. Why are you asking me to install pip? Okay. I'll do that. I don't know why I have to do that, but I will just add it. UV add pip. Oh, I typed in UC instead of UV. UV CLS again. I hope everything is installed. So I come here, shift and enter and see if it works. Let me shut down this one. Yeah, I wonder why I'm having this problem. All right, let me run from here. Let's see. Select interpreter again. Why? I have to keep saving so that I don't lose anything. So I'm going to select interpreter. If it's not working, I will still do the same thing. I will exit. That is just one problem I sometimes have with VS Code, but the issue is from me because I have too many things installed on VS Code. So I tend to have these problems. But at least the easiest thing with VS Code is you just shut down and shut and and log back in and everything's fine. So I'll select interpreter. Let's see. It's still taking time. 3.10. I have too many extensions. So cool. And I run. Cool. See? Let's see. Let's hope everything works out fine. It's still saying no. All right, let me install. Just being stubborn. If it needs pip, it gets pip. Okay, I know what the problem is. I forgot to install IPY kernel. That was my that was my issue. So let me do that. Oh dear. For this to work, I needed to have installed IPY kernel. Probably need to exit again. I just keep doing that. Imagine how many times I had to do this. If you don't do something for a little while, you tend to forget. So here, what I'm going to do is, the issue wasn't pip. The issue was to install IPY kernel. So that has been installed. I hope everything goes on fine from here. There's my terminal. Let's just check my PyProject.toml file. It wasn't pip that was the issue, but I installed it anyway. And I have IPY kernel here. And cool. So close all this. And so I'll highlight the whole of this and hold my shift key and run. And it had to connect to the environment. It's checking for the Python. Found it. It's importing yfinance as YF. It's gonna do all the imports. And it's giving me an error. Yfinance has no attribute download. Did I make a mistake in the spelling? No, I didn't. Stand by. Okay, I've seen the problem. My file name is yfinance, so that's why it's called circular import. So I'm importing my own file name. So I'm going to change the file name. I'm not supposed to do that. I forgot all about that. I'm forgetting a lot of things. I'm going to rename my file name again. Probably I should call it yfin. That's more like it. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Okay, so I've changed it to yfin. I don't know. So I'm going to delete all that. I don't know. Do you want to save changes? I don't know what this is. So I am going to save this and I am going to start this. Oh my goodness. I changed it again. All right, let's go again. Hopefully no issues this time around. Looks like everything's okay. We've crossed that one. I forgot. Why did I even name my file yfinance? Anyway, there we go. Output collapse. What is the output? Good. There we go. So some data has been downloaded. Okay, I can now close this guy. And as usual, I always try to save. So I'm going to open this one wider so that I can see it. So yeah. Now, I just have a little problem with this. Yeah, the issue I have is I think, look at the names of this column. This is close MSFT. I wonder why it's like that. I'm sure if I should. Oh, sorry. I should go back here, put a comma, and yeah, do it this way, right? And run this. Might have a problem. So this is close for Apple, close for Google, and so on and so forth. So I have to do it this way. So you can see high for Microsoft. So this is kind of a multi-index situation we're having here. But anyway, let's go back to a single one. Now, if I want to work in a Jupyter notebook, I could try. Let's create a new file. We're here. Let's just create another file. So I'm going to call it same thing, yfin, but I'm going to make it Jupyter notebook. So Python notebook, IPYNB. I'm going to hit enter. And so I'm going to close this one right now. So I'm going to go with code here. So again, I'm going to say import. Let me hide my cursor. Import yfinance as by f, and I'll just go along. Aha, I'm supposed to select the kernel again, which I haven't done, and I'm using this one. Sorry about that. Keep going back and forth. So this is what we're used to, right? We are used to, if I see this number 1 here, I like saving it so that I don't forget something. We're used to this, right? So import yfinance. So I'm going to say yf dot download, and the same thing, we are importing well, it's not as clear as it probably would have been if we were using a real Jupyter notebook, but this is not too bad, right? But I know that this is a multi-index situation, and then the problem might be that the close here, which is what I want to see, is level 0, and then the Apple, which I don't want to see because I know I'm dealing with Apple, is level 1. So I'll have to drop that column, right? So one of the things I'm going to do is to go to the bottom here and try to play around with what I'm dealing with. So I think the first thing I probably would need to do is to store this in a name, right? What am I going to call it? I'm going to call it, let me just call it AAPL. And then I'm going to assign it. So that has been done. So I'm going to now check AAPL. Let's see, dot columns. If I do it this way, I am seeing a multi-index column, and I want to get rid of one of them. I could say I could drop. I could say drop, right? Drop what? Their levels. And which level am I going to drop? I have a suggestion here or recommendation that I should drop level 0. This is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to run that, and I can see what is left is Apple, 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 Apple. That is not what I want. So just like I guessed the last time, I think it wants me to drop level 1. So when I drop it, I can see close, high, low, open, and volume, which is what I want. So the thing I need to do now is to say AAPL.columns equals that, so that when I come over here and I run AAPL, I will see that it gives me only the close, the high. Where's the open? Open is last. This is odd. Anyway, this is what I want to see. I don't want the first level, so I can get rid of first level like that. Come here, just in case, AAPL.columns. What would you call yourself? The name is price. I actually don't want the name because it's gonna interfere. I want it to have no name, so I'm gonna say dot name. Sorry, it's there. I'll say is equals to none, for instance, and I will just check dot columns. Sorry, columns. I'll just check if that has been done. Names must be alike. Apple columns. What did I do wrong? Where did I get our word names from? It's supposed to be name. All right, cool. So yeah, no name, just the D type, which is an object, whatever that means. Anyway, this is how I want it to be. So I'm just trying to clean it up a way I think it should be. So if I If I say Apple, oh, sorry, it's supposed to be AAPL. I should see a data frame the way I can play around, and manipulate it. So if I wanted to, let me see, did I import pandas? I think I did. Yeah, there you go. We imported pandas, but the color is a bit faded here because I haven't used it yet. So I'm going to go to the bottom here and see if I could just plot something and see how it looks like. Right? So AAPL log yep, like that. 2021. Let me see, where did I get my data from? I don't think I had a date range, but I'm seeing 2022 here. If it's 2022, I mean 2020, I can see 2020 here, not 2022, sorry. I'm trying to, I could do a date range. So let me say, I need something close by. So let me say 2024. This way to December. Yep, that's correct. That is my row. I'm selecting the rows I want to see. How am I sure that that is what I have? Oops, yep, the last page here. Let me just be sure. Oh, everything is 2020. Everything is 2020. So I have to change this to 2020. Now let me see what's the last date here. 30th. All right, cool. So I'm going to change this to 2020 before I get errors. It's a good thing I checked. 2020. Oh, this was just for 1 month anyway. Why was I scared? Anyway, 2020, that was the last date I saw. And I'm just going to do a pandas plot. Even though I'm not calling pandas, I just put plot here and I'll run. Oop, there's an error. What is the problem? They want me to use matplotlib. I thought I could just all right, cool. Let me see. I thought I could just do the pandas plot. This one dealing with pandas. No, not you. Okay. Did I make a mistake? I see. Plot. No, it expects me to install matplotlib. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to say uv add matplotlib. All right, completely installed. And then I'll go up here. I just prefer to call all my inputs from. I don't seem to be using pandas, so I should sorry, it seems to be hanging here for some reason. So again, I'll exit. I think I have to reduce the number of extensions I have. Hogging it down. Give it time to load up. Detecting kernels. Hope I don't make that mistake again. Python path is set. Thank you. All right. I just install my matplotlib. I don't want to go too far from here. Knows what I was trying to do and decided to help me. Oh yeah, I have to run from the top since I'm loading this. All right. True. There we go. This is just a closing price of Apple. That's nice. Okay, now the last thing I would want to do is to convert this into a function. So I'm gonna go up here and I'll just copy this. Yep. And then I'll run to the bottom. Probably should just write something here. Converting to a function. All right, too big, but hey. Paste that. I don't need all of it. I will just delete this part and I will highlight everything and put it this way. Let's see what happens if I do it this way. Okay. I just want to do it this way. I like it this way. So before I do that, I would want to change a few things. So here I'm going to call this ticker, and that will be AAPL or anything I decide to put there. And then down here, I'm gonna, yeah, that's not a bad one. I like that, but I could say convert this to start date instead. And let's see if it gives me a good suggestion. End date, correct. This is what I want to see. And interval, okay, let me do interval also. That is all I need to do, but then here I would have to change this to the word ticker, which has been suggested for me, and then I have to delete this to start date, which is correct, and here I'm gonna put end date, which is also correct, and interval I'm gonna leave it as interval, which is what we already have there. So, and if I can just run this, everything should print out correctly. Now the first thing I want to clean is this. So I'm going to do it based off of a chain. I mean, I could waste my time to try to arrange it and make it look pretty, but I don't need to. It's gonna run, that's the most important thing. So I am going to use a pipe method of pandas. And what I'm going to do in the pipe method is to pass in an anonymous function, which is called lambda function. And that lambda function, I'm going to define a data frame called df. I mean, I could use df, but I kind of prefer to use x. And it's giving me suggestions, but I'm not sure that's what I wanted. It's what I want to do, all right, but I'm going to do it differently. So I'm going to say x dot rename axis. Am I supposed to rename? No. I'm not renaming yet. I'm gonna set an axis. I'm gonna say x dot set actually, set axis, x dot columns, the drop level 1, axis 1. So it's giving me the right thing to do. So if I run this, hopefully I don't have any errors. I think it has done what I wanted it to do. I needed to delete part of, just like we did up here originally, right? I just don't want to have those multi-index columns. So this is where we are. So the next thing I want to do is I want to rename, because if I should put dot columns here and I run it, I'm going to see there's a name here, price, and I don't want this name price. I want to get rid of it. So again, I'm going to pass in another pipe method. And this time around, yes, another lambda. I'm going to call it X. That's my choice. You could call it DF if you wanted to. Then here we are renaming, let's see. We're renaming the axis and we want to set it to none. Yeah, we could say axis equals to 1 or axis equals to columns, so that when we run that, that's a problem. Where? Yeah, this is the problem. I forgot to close that. When we run it this way, we don't have that name. Now I don't necessarily need this. I'll just try to check the names of the columns. So what I could do is I could step in here and I'll give it a name. So I'm going to define something called like get yfinance data I've learned. And yeah, that's correct. Ticker, start date, interval. Yeah, that is correct. And I'll say return. And I'll just drag that up here. And my function is ready, actually. So if I should come here and say something like, where are you? If I should say get yfin data, and I should just open this and run it, because everything has been defined here. My ticker has been defined here, so I actually didn't need to pass it. My start date and date, everything has been defined there. I could just afford to run it like that. If I didn't want to see the head, I could run the entire data. Yeah, or I could pass in the names. I could just say equals to Tesla. How is Tesla behaving? Is this Tesla? Can I run it like that? No. Positional argument, I need to let's see. Nope, not you. What am I stepping on? So 2025 04 01 end date 2025 04/20th, and interval is 1 day. All right. So Tesla is here, so I could even, just a short interval, right? I could do to look here, and I'm okay with the date. I could just plot that. Hope it works. No, that's a problem. Close. It doesn't have that. Okay, I used look. That was my problem. That was my problem. Oh yeah, Tesla's going down. Yep, it's about that time of the year. And the last thing I could do is to copy this. I'm gonna copy this, then go to my yfin, and yep, let's see. Paste that there. So all the lambda is based off of PD, even though I'm not using PD explicitly. I don't know if I should leave that. Anyway, I should save that, and I could also save this. I don't need to save this. I could now. I could start a new project. Let me just say new. Let me call it. Let me start a new project entirely. I could start a new project, and I could call it new proj.ipython notebook, and yep, it has started, and I will connect to the same kernel, right? And I'll get a code here. What am I importing now? Import, or let's do it this way. I say from yfin import. Can I remember the name of that? Import get yfin data. Get yfin data. Does it work? Yeah, no errors. So I can say get yfin data and ticker. I just hate typing stuff. Find a way of. So instead of Apple now, I could do NVDA. I don't know if that's correct. And I could say 2024. I could say December 1st to, let's say, 2025. 04/20, for instance, and I could deal with the daily. Are you gonna work? Yep, same stuff worked. So there's something called NVDA. So I could just say NVDA. That should be NVIDIA, right? And I could say NVDA. It's there. Dot close dot plot. Yeah, I mean, everything here looks correct to me. Am I going to have an error? No errors whatsoever. Oops, what happened? No errors. What happened? I didn't import. So why wasn't it working the last time? I'm using pandas. Let me look at yfin. I'm just using pandas. Whatever. It worked. They didn't give me errors. The other one was asking for my plotly. I wonder why. So this is the closing price. Ooh, it's really going down too. Everything's going down. This is that time of the year. So short sellers having fun somewhere around, peaked around here when Trump started throwing tariffs. There was a time DeepSeek came out. And yeah, stuff is just going down. So I could save this, and yeah, I have nothing hanging. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to push everything I have here. I'm going to push it back to my GitHub repo. Then I'll show you how to download it, down to your own system. And I will show you how to restart everything I've done here. You could just run them, or you could follow step by step and do it the way I just did. Hopefully, you will not make some of the mistakes I found myself making. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to push what we've done to the GitHub repo we created earlier on, which is this one. So let me come to the command line here, and I will say git status just to see the status. Yeah, so this is good. That means Git has been, it has been initialized, isn't it? I don't know. So let me just do git init. Let me see. It's telling me it's already initialized anyway. So I'm just trying to be sure it's correct. So I'm going to let's see, where are you? I'm going to do this because I want to push whatever I have there into my Git repo. And let me see how it works. I didn't get any errors. So I will go back there and copy this one, git branch main. I have no issues, I hope. So what's going on here? Let's see. Git status again. So I could say git add. Just add what is here. It's been done. Yeah, I think everything is, I hope there's no issue. So I'll say git commit. I'll just add a message. And I'm doing all this manually because I just like doing things manually. But if I wanted to skip all this, I could actually use vscode here. There are 8 things I can commit. So I could just show you the easier one, commit. So I was at the point of committing. So I could say today's work, that's right. It's just something you can remember. Today's work, today's work doesn't make sense. And then I will publish it to the branch. Let's see if it works. We don't have any errors, and this has disappeared. And so we can go back to the Git page here. This is a repo we just created, and I could refresh that, and everything is here. So what I don't have is a README file. Sorry, I could just create a README file. I didn't need to. Here, I could just start a new file. So I could call it readme.md. It's a markdown file. Oh, there's a README file. Sorry, I didn't see that. Yeah, the sorry about that. The UV created a README file for me, so that was why I got that warning. There's a README file here. So what did we do here? I could just add some words here. Let's see. yfinance. I think this should be capital Y. Can't remember. read Python. I mean, if I wanted to write more, be more elaborate, probably I would add that. So I will just save this, and here would tell me that I need to push that. So I could just say read me and commit that and then save changes. And I will just go back to the repo. There's nothing in the readme. Then I will just click on this to see what I just wrote. I mean, the italics I tried to form didn't make any difference anyway, so there's no need. So readme. I could choose to write something more elaborate, and that. So I'm sure by the time you come to watch this, you might see something more elaborate. But let's dial back a bit. Let's assume that you don't want to go and follow me step by step, like to see what I did. You just want to run everything I had. You just want to download this into your system and do something. We could, play it back as if I were you, and I just wanted to go to the repo, download what I'm seeing here, and just run it. And this is one way you could try doing that. So what I'll do is I'm done with this. I will just clear screen here. I could just do a CD, or let's say, is this CD? Yeah, I think it's CD. Yep, I'm coming out of there. We'll see what are the files that I have here. And let's assume that I want to download this here where we see all this miscellaneous. So what I could do is, if I were you, I would just go to where the GitHub repo is and open it. Then I would go to where it's written here, code is green. I prefer to use SSH. You probably might need to set it up, or else you use HTTPS. Try and see which one works for you. If you're having issues, you could check online on YouTube and see how to use SSH. I used to use HTTPS. You could also use a GitHub desktop if you wanted to. So I'm going to use SSH. I will copy it. I'll go to my PowerShell here, and I am in the directory that I'm interested in. It's called 00 miscellaneous, and I will say git clone, and then I will paste that, and I'll wait for it, and it has cloned. So what I can do is say ls just to check the files I have. 04 was where we worked in the first instance, but this yfinance here is what we just downloaded now onto my laptop. So I'm going to cd into yfinance. I'll just hit my tab key here, and I sort of like clearing my screen all the time so that everything is clear. I can do an ls to see what we have here, and this is everything that we have that we brought down from the GitHub repo we are interested in, which happens to be mine anyway. And then what I could do is I could open my vscode, and it's going to open there. So this is what we got from that repo. It's new. Can enlarge this. So how do I get started? It's a hell lot easier this time around. I think, okay, now you can see here, the issue here is that I don't even have a Python interpreter except the one I have on my laptop originally, because the one we created the last time is not for this environment here. So I already have my PyProject.toml file. I have my UV lock here because that was what I brought down from the GitHub repo. I don't need to initialize UV, hoping that you have UV installed on your system. So I have UV installed on my system. This is a project I want to test to see how it works, right? So I'm going to go here and I'll open my terminal. This is how to get there. I don't have any environment here, but I seem to have, if I have UV installed, I will just go UV sync. What I'm telling it is to go to the Pi project.toml file, and everything that was used for the project that I'm interested in, that I just downloaded from a GitHub repo, I wanted to sync that, then create the environment the person used. So, sorry, I'm supposed to sync, not sunk. There we go. Spelling has been, arranged for me. So I just hit enter. So it's creating that environment. It's telling me that it has created my environment. Should it set it up? I'm saying yes, do that. And I can see I have a .venv file here, which is okay. And I think everything has been set and it's there for me. So you just do UV sync. I know everything on the UV add that I was doing, you don't need to do that, except you want to start the project from the beginning. And with that, I can now see, okay, what did the person do on his video? You can see he has several here. This is one. This is the step-by-step approach the person did on his video. Sorry, sometimes it takes a while to set up. If it wastes your time, you can, exit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit. Sorry. Don't worry. And I'm going to load you again. Hopefully this time you're going to behave. So I'm waiting for this to load. It's loading up. It's trying to detect the kernels that we need to use. And it has loaded up. Let's see if it gets a kernel for me. If it doesn't, I will select the one we just installed. And if I check, oh, sorry, not the UV lock. The Pi project.toml file, I will see that we were supposed to have Python 3.10. Okay, what happened? Select kernel. 3.10 here for this workspace, and it's done. And all I just need to do is to run this and run this and wait for it to finish running. Do you need this on large? Yeah, so it's done. I could shut this panel down and run all this. So I'm playing around with this for the first time. Let me try plotting this. I don't know why this refused to work the last time. So you see, it worked without me running the matplotlib. I just don't know what the problem was back then. But you see, I didn't have to run this. I just skipped that. So you probably don't need to run matplotlib here because it worked. And this was when I was trying to create the function that I eventually used here. So I probably don't need these two of them, just need yfinance just for it to get for this. Well, this was all I planned to show to you. I hope the video wasn't too long because I was having a lot of errors. I already did quite a lot of it, and hope it shrinks down to the size that will be convenient for you to watch. So this is all I have for you, and if you have any questions, you can just drop it in the comment section. And please like and subscribe if you haven't, so that I'll be encouraged to bring out videos that might be beneficial for you. Take care of yourself and have a wonderful day. Ciao.